In this video, I want to share with you 5 tips and tricks to enhance your experience in data processing and outputting of your results. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Rashid and welcome back to Epic Mentorship. If you are new here, consider liking and subscribing to our channel to keep enjoying related useful videos from us. Enough of the talking. Let's get started with the tips and tricks that I have for us today.
Tip number 1 is Xlookup. Xlookup is very useful for users of Microsoft Excel to be able to fish out a particular set of data within a range of given data. So for example, when we have this series containing countries and maybe profit over a given period of time from week 1 to week 4 or from week 1 to week 5, and we want to fish out a particular data from a particular country. For example, we want to fish out Malaysia in week 5. What happens to Malaysia in week 5? So let's see, we want to do an Xlookup. So we put in equal to Xlookup. We are asked to provide the lookup value. So we're looking for Malaysia, and within the lookup array, so we look from this range, comma, and return array. Where are we looking at? So let's say we're looking at week 3. So once we close and hit enter, it returns 56. Malaysia is 56 on week 3. So Xlookup has many advantages in that you can go even horizontal as you are selecting or searching for your data. A very good example is we can select what happens in Brunei in week 3. So we could quickly make an Xlookup. So we say equal to Xlookup, and we put in the lookup value. We are looking for week 3 within a lookup array of, let's say, from this range, and we're looking for it within Brunei. So what happens? Week 3 in Brunei is at 44, so it returns the value 44. So it's a very useful and handy feature that you can apply to kind of select anything, any behavior of your data within a particular range of data. Tip number 2 is on how to apply currency function within Microsoft Excel. So there are 2 ways to apply currency function in Microsoft Excel. So we can bring in currency sign within a particular data. So for example, if we want to bring in currency, we want to put in currency within this particular data, we can just select the data, and we can press Ctrl+Shift+4 to convert everything to bring in a currency sign within all our data. And alternatively, we can select this particular data and right click on it and go to format cells, and we can select to a particular currency here. So we select what currency are we dealing with. Now we're dealing with Malaysian ringgit, but we can put in United States dollar or anywhere. So we can put Canadian dollar as well. So once we finish, we click on OK, and it's going to convert that to, and it's going to bring in Canadian dollar as a sign to our currency. So this is a very handy feature that we can always use, either the shortcut key or directly using the format cells to incorporate the currency sign in our data. Tip number 3 is the if function. If function is very useful whenever we want to categorize our data according to certain number. Okay, we want to put in a cap to this particular data. For example, we can say in this range, anything above 50 should report a particular number, or below 50 should report a particular value. So assuming we want to put in an if function around this cell, so we can just say it's equal to if function, we open the bracket, logical test. So we want to say if this cell, this particular cell, greater than 50, if this is true, print big, right? Otherwise, print small. And we can close, and once we hit enter, we're going to see this is small because this is less than 50. So you can drag across down, and we see the values accordingly. Big, small, right? So this is very interesting as well for us to use in our Microsoft Excel. Tip number 4 is called absolute cell reference. So whenever we have a particular cell that has maybe that is a product of a given cell, for example, this column H, we can look at it as a product of G2 and D2. Once we double click it, it's going to show us that it's a product of week 2 and week 5. So directly we can see the relation, and it happens all the way down. We can see D3, D4, D5, D6, and so on. It keeps increasing as we move down. Now, assuming we need to multiply this particular product with a single cell value, for example, each of these values needs to be multiplied by 7.8, and we need to carry it along. That's when the concept of absolute cell reference comes in. So let's look at it. For example, what we are talking about is this cell is going to be equal to this particular cell multiplied by this cell, and this is going to be correct until we try to drag in to have the data multiplied to other cells, and this is going to return back to 0, because it's going to keep taking the next data over here, which we don't have anything. So like this is I11, right? Just like this, I11. So it's going to be next is going to be I12, I13, I14, and I15, which we don't have anything. So this is where the concept of absolute cell reference comes in. So for us to utilize the concept of absolute cell reference, we need to come back to this initial cell and put in a $sign before the column ID. So this is I11, so we put in a $sign before I and after I. So signifying that it's absolute. We'll try to make it static. After that particular I number is not going to change. So we make it static. So when we drag this down, we are going to see that it's going to take effect accordingly. All the values will be multiplied by this particular cell without any movement to the subsequent cells. So you can see this one is I11, this one I11, 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 just the value multiplied by I11. So this is kept fixed as absolute cell reference. Now tip number 5 is called data type, the use of data type. Data types are very useful to kind of understand some live data about a particular country or state or any kind of territory. So for example, this is a list of countries in Southeast Asia, and we want to have an idea about some of their properties within that particular country. So let's say we select this particular data and we come over all the way to data tab here, and we can come down here to data types. We can click on geography. Clicking on geography actually bring in this show card and attach it to all our data within over here, and brings in this add data or insert data icon. So you can insert a given data from this selected show cards or list of countries. So as you click on this, it's going to give you different data about these particular countries. For example, we can put in agricultural land, and it's going to bring in for all the countries selected. And then we can put in other values like the currency code. It's going to bring automatic to all the countries, what are their currency codes, and what is their fertility rate even it's going to give us, and other parameters like population or life expectancy. We have it here. You can have any kind of data that you want accordingly. National anthem, you can see the names, okay? And at any given point, you can reference a particular cell or a particular country or a particular data using these particular data types. Okay, so you can reference and say this cell is equal to, for example, we'll come over to Malaysia, and it's going to give us a range of things that we can put. For example, we can say what's the currency code of Malaysia, or what is the calling code for Malaysia. Once you double click on this and hit enter, it's going to give us the calling code for Malaysia. Very easy. And we can do other parameters as well. So we can say equal to, we say Brunei, and we want to take in the abbreviation or the birth rate of Brunei. So we just double click and it's going to give us the birth rate of Brunei, just like that. So this feature is kind of new in Microsoft Office 365, I think from 2020 version upwards. So if you have the latest version, then you expect it to work perfectly for you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being with me up to this point, and I do hope that you have learned something today. If you do, kindly feel free to share with your friends. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay connected with this channel for more of our useful videos. Remember to apply these tips and tricks in your next data analysis so that you can enhance your output for your readers to better understand your results. I will see you in my next video. Bye.